It's the city of dreams, the entertainment capital of the world, and a place that has captivated imaginations for over a century. But beneath the sun-soaked beaches, the endless freeways, and the palm-lined streets, Los Angeles has a history that is both fascinating and complex. From a humble Spanish settlement to the sprawling megacity we know today, the story of LA is a tale of ambition, innovation, and reinvention. Welcome to the entire history of Los Angeles in just 10 minutes. Los Angeles' history begins long before Hollywood and the freeways. Thousands of years ago, long before European settlers arrived, the region was inhabited by indigenous groups such as the Tongva, Chumash, and Luiseno people. These native communities thrived along the coast and near the LA River, living off its abundant resources. Then, in 1769, Spain began to expand its empire into California. They founded the first European settlement in what would become Los Angeles, El Pueblo de la Reina de Los Angeles, or the town of the Queen of Angels, established in 1781 with just 44 settlers. It was a small village, but it was on the cusp of something much larger. The next few decades saw California change hands, first from Spain to Mexico in 1821, and then to the United States in 1848 after the Mexican-American War. It was during this time that the seeds of Los Angeles' explosive growth began to take root. The discovery of gold in California in 1848 brought thousands of people to the west, but LA itself remained a sleepy town of fewer than 10,000 people, far from the gold rush. That changed when the railroads arrived. In the late 1800s, the Southern Pacific Railroad connected Los Angeles to the rest of the country, making the city an important hub for trade and travel. By the early 20th century, Los Angeles was no longer a sleepy town, but a booming city with a rapidly growing population. But the real turning point came in the 1920s, when a mix of booming industries made Los Angeles the place to be. One of the most important was oil. LA's oil boom made it one of the largest oil-producing regions in the world, and the wealth generated from this industry fueled the city's expansion. By the time the 1920s rolled around, Los Angeles was transforming into a modern city with new infrastructure, skyscrapers, and ambitious plans for the future. Hollywood, however, was the city's true claim to fame. The movie industry was just beginning to take off, and Los Angeles became the epicenter of film production. By 1920, LA was producing 80% of the world's films. Hollywood's golden age began, drawing actors, directors, and dreamers from all over the world who believed they could make it big in the land of opportunity. While the city was on the rise, it wasn't without its challenges. One of the most pressing was the issue of water. Los Angeles sits in the middle of a desert, and the city's rapid growth was outpacing its ability to supply water. In the early 1900s, the city built the controversial Owens Valley aqueduct, bringing water from hundreds of miles away. The project was fiercely contested, and some even resorted to violence to stop it. But the aqueduct was completed, quenching LA's thirst and enabling further expansion. This growth, coupled with the city's newfound status as a global center for entertainment, helped cement Los Angeles' identity as the city of dreams. But even as the city prospered, social inequality and racial tensions simmered beneath the surface. In the 1930s and 1940s, the city's population boomed even more, and LA became a melting pot of cultures, but it also faced the challenges of segregation, overcrowded neighborhoods, and the exclusion of people of color from many of the city's opportunities. World War II marked another pivotal moment in Los Angeles history. The aerospace industry surged, with companies like Lockheed and Douglas Aircraft making the city a center of innovation and production. Los Angeles was transformed into a wartime manufacturing powerhouse, helping fuel the country's efforts in the war. After the war, the city's growth accelerated. The rise of the automobile, combined with the construction of freeways, made LA a sprawling city of suburbs and highways. Unlike most major cities, Los Angeles was not built around a central core, but sprawled outward, creating a vast metropolitan region with no clear boundaries. But as the city grew, so did its problems. In the 1960s and 1970s, Los Angeles faced rising crime, racial tensions, and the impacts of urban sprawl. The Watts riots of 1965 brought national national attention to the racial inequalities in the city. The freeway system, once a symbol of progress, led to the destruction of many neighborhoods, displacing thousands of residents, particularly African Americans and Latinos. LA's problems seemed to be mounting, but the city continued to expand and diversify. By the 1980s and 1990s, Los Angeles had solidified itself as a global cultural and economic powerhouse. The entertainment industry was booming, and the city's music, fashion, and art scenes were influencing trends across the world. But the 1990s also saw some of the darkest moments in LA's history, with the Rodney King riots in 1992 and the devastating North Ridge earthquake in 1994. Despite these setbacks, Los Angeles continued to recover, transform, and adapt. Today, Los Angeles is one of the most influential cities on the planet, home to over 10 million people and an economic engine that drives global industries from entertainment to technology. It is a city that continues to reinvent itself, from tackling issues like climate change and homelessness to reimagining its infrastructure with new mass transit projects and green initiatives. Los Angeles is the embodiment of growth, opportunity, and the pursuit of dreams. And despite all the challenges it faces, it's a city that has shown time and time again that it can adapt, thrive, and continue to evolve. And there you have it, the entire history of Los Angeles in 10 minutes. A city that's as much about reinvention as it is about its past. Los Angeles will always be a place where the story is never really finished. It's a place that has continually shaped and been shaped by the people who call it home. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the histories of the world's most fascinating cities.